This is a 3.5 bar steam espresso machine. There are many versions of steam espresso machines like this one available on the market, but there are not many videos explaining how to pull a consistent shot of coffee using this machine. So I decided to make a video to show you exactly how to do that. Note that I'm not calling it a shot of espresso, as technically you cannot pull a traditional espresso using this machine. Classic espresso is created with around 8 to 9 bars of pressure, which this type of machine is not able to muster. But in my experience, you can certainly produce a result that is delicious and enjoyable. Those of you that have a machine like this know that it comes with a steam wand as well, but I will not be covering that feature in this video. Today we'll be focusing on pulling a double shot, which you can then enjoy by itself or add milk or hot water to create other coffee drinks. Machines like this one usually come with a portafilter and a removable basket, a spoon with a tamping end, and a carafe. The basket is not pressurized, so the pressure created in the basket is basically down to the dose of coffee you put in, as well as the grind size. On the machine itself, you have a water tank with a lid that you need to screw on tightly, and a single multiple function knob to produce coffee or steam. You can pause the brew and turn off the machine using this knob as well. There is also a handy drip tray below the filter. One more thing before we start. You need good, fresh coffee. I'm sorry, but if you have coffee that's been standing in the cupboard for months, you are not going to get a good result no matter what you try. So first, go out and get some fresh coffee. You can use ground coffee, and when I first started using this machine, I bought freshly ground coffee from my local coffee shop, and that worked well. The problem is that ground coffee ages quickly, and I found myself buying only enough ground coffee to last a few days, and that is not so practical. Later, I bought an inexpensive flat burr grinder, the Krups GX V2, and I am very satisfied with the results I get from this unit. Although you can get a good result from fresh pre-ground coffee, grinding fresh each time elevates the result to the next level. Right, let us get to making coffee. First, run a blank shot through the machine with about 120 ml of water, roughly the amount indicated at the level marked 2 on the carafe. This helps to get heat into the machine, which I have found produces a better result. After the water has run through, turn the knob to off and release the lid. Next, remove the portafilter and the basket and dry out the basket with a paper towel. Grind the coffee. About 16 to 18 grams of coffee is about right for a double shot. You will need a grind size on the finer end, but more about that later. Distribute the coffee into the basket as evenly as possible and try to get rid of any clumps before you load the basket. Then tamp the coffee with the tamper provided. I try to center the tamper and then I press down quite firmly. I have found tamping to be the most difficult part of the process, and a slight variation in how you load and tamp the basket can change the result quite significantly. So you will need to experiment with this over the first few shots that you pull. Now load the machine with fresh water, about 240 ml, which is at the level marked 4 on the carafe. Load the machine and turn the knob to brew. Wait for the first drop of coffee and then start a timer. I have found that the ideal brew time is between 50 to 70 seconds. This is a lot longer than a traditional espresso, but we are pulling the shot through much lower pressure, so this is needed. After this time, you should have a shot of between 36 to 46 grams, and you need to remove the shot before more water is pushed through. The machine can then be turned off. If your shot has more coffee than this in mass, then you have either not ground your coffee fine enough, or you have not tamped firmly enough. If you have too little coffee in your shot, then you need to grind your coffee on a coarser setting. You can also adjust the dose of the coffee. A lower dose will result in more coffee in the shot, and vice versa, but I would only suggest adjusting the dose for fine adjustments later. You first need to get your grind setting right. And there you have it, a well-rounded and delicious espresso, which I think is an excellent result from a machine that is as cheap as this.